Analysis. We're now joined by Sheran Grewal-Professor at the College of William and Mary based in Sicily, Italy. Sheran, thank you so much for joining us. Well, the Tunisian president sacking the Prime Minister Hichem Mechichi and then suspending parliament after a day of anti-government protests. What is your take on his actions?
Thanks for having me. It's a power grab and really an attempted coup. The Constitution is clear that while the president can take exceptional powers for 30 days, he cannot freeze the parliament in that time. The parliament must be in a continuous session during those 30 days. Hence, several of the major political parties have condemned the coup and are now staging a sit-in outside of the parliament, trying to get into the parliament and hold a session in line with the Constitution. But that has also created a very tense situation. Now you have supporters of the president in the street and his opponents in the street. With both sides in the street, it raises the possibility of potential clashes between them.
Sheran, I just want to speak a little bit about how big a challenge this is going to be to democracy in Tunisia, but more than that, the Constitution, because you've mentioned a little bit about giving us details about that, but just speak to us on how this affects the Constitution of the country.
This is a major challenge to the Constitution and to Tunisia's young democracy. In my mind, it's the most serious threat it's faced since the protests in 2013. It's serious, first of all, because there is no constitutional court that could adjudicate whether the president is right or his opponents are right in their interpretation of the Constitution. There is no constitutional court. Instead, what the crisis seems to be escalating towards is dueling protests on the street, raising the possibility of clashes between them. But moreover, it raises the specter of how will the police and the military respond? Will they be loyal to the president and help him in this power grab, as it seems initially they have been, preventing the political parties from entering the parliament? Or will they stay neutral, as the military historically has, tending not to use force towards unarmed civilians? What we can hope for moving forward is that the army and the police stay neutral, and instead Tunisia's civil society enters the fray. Its labor union, its other organizations that back in 2013 had stepped in to mediate and have a dialogue between the political forces. What we would hope is that Tunisia's civil society does that again.
So now you've explained a little bit, Sheran, about why the president's move has been condemned by some as an attack on democracy, but and by his rivals as well, who've condemned his actions. But they've also been greeted with celebration in the streets by so many people, and we saw so many people in Tunis coming out in the streets and celebrating his move. What do you make of that?
And that is why this attempt is so dangerous, is because it has some level of popular support. The president himself, Kais Saied, was elected with 73% of the vote in a landslide election in 2019. Today, he is down to maybe 40% support in the polls, but still makes him the most popular figure in Tunisia. But beyond his own base, his actions have also appealed to other Tunisians who are simply fed up with the political process, fed up with the political parties and the government being unable to solve their problems and improve the economic situation, and taps into this anger towards the political parties, particularly towards the moderate Islamist party, Ennahda. And so there is a broad degree of public support for the president's actions, which makes his power grab that much more dangerous.